underline all the things that you need to do to make it happen that you aren't doing now. The division of your day. We each get 24 hours to manage. The broad divisions of that time are easy to see. 1, 8 hours for sleep. 2, 8 hours for work. 3, 8 hours of spare time. You can't mess around much with that first division or your health will suffer. You can occasionally steal an hour or two from your sleep, but it's a bad habit. Don't create any bad habits. The 8 hours spent at work are potentially your most directly productive. You need to stay focused on your purpose and your habit of going the extra mile if this is to be the case. The preceding 15 chapters of this book will teach you that. But in a few lines, I'll give you some tips to manage that time more effectively in attaining your purpose. The last 8 hours are your spare time. You need to manage them as well, or you'll find them slipping away in routine household chores, reruns of Mr. Ed, and listening to your neighbor talk about his new lawnmower again. This can be harder, but I have some guidelines to offer. As you'll see, managing your time, like managing your life, requires knowing what you want to use it for. Time management on the job. As our society gets more complicated, there seems to be more to do. I am indebted to the writings of Alan Lakin and Stephanie Winston for some of the advice that follows. They've spent their time learning about time. Prioritizing your tasks. Make a list of all the things you need to do today, this week, and this month. Divide another sheet of paper into 4 equal sections. Label the top left important and urgent. Here you will enter jobs that you know must be done right away in order for you to be successful. Write the day and hour each task is due next to each job. Label the top right section important but not urgent. Put things here that are essential to your work but aren't a crisis. If you pay the most attention to this section, nothing should end up in the top left category. Again, make a note next to each task about just exactly when it has to be done. It is important to review this section every day so that nothing slips over into important and urgent. In the bottom left, write unimportant but urgent. This category, like the last one, requires you to have a keen sense of your purpose. You have to be able to make a definite decision about what matters to you. Most of the things that fall into it will be spontaneous. Someone will want your advice. You may get a call telling you that you may have to act now to buy that beautiful timeshare in the Poconos. You won't bother to write them down because you can either dismiss them or move them into important and urgent. The category is on the sheet of paper mostly to remind you that urgent does not mean important. Finally, write unimportant and not urgent in the bottom right. You might not even bother to write tasks down here, since it means that you will never devote attention to them. But again, it helps to remind yourself that there are many things which can fall into this category. When you complete a task, put a line through it. Create evidence of your accomplishment as a reminder of your efficient use of your time. Handling paper. 2 kinds of paper will cross your desk. Valuable, a sales update, and superfluous, information about the office pool. Throw the superfluous stuff away without even setting it back down on your desk. Never give it a second thought. Handle the valuable material as little as possible. If you can, attend to it right then and there. Read updates, sign authorizations, write responses on the spot. Put reading material like magazine articles aside for a regular, dedicated time. If you can't act on a paper for some reason, make a small dot in an upper corner. The next time you pick it up, make another dot. You'll soon see how often you're handling the same piece of paper again, and you'll be motivated to do something about it. Budgeting your spare time. Routine tasks will easily expand to fit the time available and eat up all your spare time unless you make a definite decision to devote it to the things you think are important. Allot your time in the following manner to make sure that you are able to do all the things you need to. 1. Spend 1 hour a day in quiet meditation on the following subjects. A. your plan for your definite major purpose. B. Contact with infinite intelligence, affirming your gratitude for the blessings you have. C. Self-analysis, identifying the fears you need to master and making plans for doing so. D. Ways to increase harmony in all your relationships. E. The things you desire instead of the things you don't want. 2. Devote 2 hours to going the extra mile by rendering some sort of service to your community, your spouse, or your family, without expecting any kind of reward for it. 3. Study and read for self-improvement for an hour. 4. Spend an hour in contact with members of your mastermind alliance or close personal friends. This leaves 3 hours for relaxation, recreation, exercise, and other responsibilities. As you become familiar with these activities, you may be able to combine them with other things. You can meditate or read while commuting on the bus or train. If you have to drive to work, listen to audio tapes of self-improvement books. Carpool with a member of your mastermind alliance, and use the driving time for discussion and problem solving. If your relaxation involves a worthwhile hobby, teach it to youngsters in local service groups, rendering extra service to your community. The possibilities are as many as you can make them. Follow this schedule 6 days a week, and set aside 1 day for nothing but mental and physical relaxation and your religious and philosophical activities. You can spend much of this time with your family. You all will be glad you did. Budgeting your money. Many people have written good and valuable books about specific ways of managing your money. Seek them out. I won't provide you with the nitty-gritty details, but I will remind you of the importance of budgeting your money. Like time, money should be spent with a definite purpose in mind. You must create a budget for all your expenses, and you must use self-discipline in sticking to it. Your first priority in any budget should be to set aside a fixed percentage of your income for savings. The rule is pay yourself first. A strong and growing savings cushion is an important weapon in your fight against the fear of poverty. If adversity or ill health strikes, adequate savings will allow you to start looking for the seed of equivalent benefit right away. You won't panic about the mortgage payment, and you'll be able to recover more quickly. Make sure that you have adequate life insurance if others depend on you. The cost of a good policy is worth the anguish you will save your dependents. Your sudden departure from this life will be more than enough sadness for them. Don't compound it with the threat of the poorhouse. Allocate some portion of your income to charity. This is an important part of going the extra mile. Let's hope you never have to depend on some worthy group to help you out. But what right do you have to anyone's aid if you have never given any help yourself? If you're in debt, you need to spend as much as you can realistically afford to pay that debt off. Don't tell yourself that you'll need only $10 a week spending money when you've been blowing $100, because once you spend that $11th, you'll decide you've already blown your budget and might as well go all the way. It's a slippery slope. And don't cut into your savings allotment to pay your debts either. Make savings a habit. Never back away from a good habit. Once you're out of debt, divide the money you were using to pay it off between your savings and your general household and entertainment expenses. You want to cultivate the habit of increasing your savings whenever your income rises. But you should also give yourself some immediate reward for doing your job. You will probably find that circumstances arise that your budget did not allow for. There may be a health emergency, a new baby on the way, a parent who needs help. Don't let this throw you. By developing and sticking to your budget, you've increased your habit of self-discipline. You've also learned to make your money serve your purpose. You did it before, and you can do it again. Habits are an important part of budgeting your time and money. They are important to every principle in the science of personal achievement. They are, in fact, the keys to all personal achievement. The next chapter will teach you to select and control your habits on the basis of cosmic law. Chapter 17. You are where you are and what you are because of your established habits. The aim of this book has been to force you to examine those habits and teach you ways to change them. To do this, you need to understand and apply a universal principle I call cosmic habit force. Cosmic habit force is the law which makes every living creature, every particle of matter, subject to the influence of its environment. It can work for you or against you. The choice is yours. Using natural forces. The grandest example of cosmic habit force is the operation of the heavens. Stars and planets move with clock-like precision. They don't collide. They don't suddenly veer off course, at least not without some major change in the forces at work, like a supernova or a black hole, which are themselves just another example of matter behaving according to established patterns. A complex system of gravity and inertia, attraction and repulsion, keeps things moving so precisely that for millennia human beings have been able to predict the position of the stars and planets, the timing of eclipses, and the regularity of meteor showers. Sunflowers don't grow from turnip seeds. Giraffes don't give birth to tadpoles. Clouds don't release milk. Everything does that which is its nature to do. All this is a reflection of universal order, which makes so much of the physical operation of the world understandable. Certainly, we are still working to understand more than we already do, but science is based on the faith that there is a universal order. All actions and reactions are fixed on the basis of this order. In the science of personal achievement, you seek to take control of this order by taking control of your habits. You recognize that your thoughts and actions will become as much a part of your nature as Pluto's orbit is a part of its nature. If your habits are positive, the seeds that they plant will be too. But you have to realize that cosmic habit force always operates. If your habits are negative, their results will also be negative. This is why you must take control of your habits through self-discipline. Habits become a part of your nature by repetition. You create thought habits by repeating certain ideas in your mind. Cosmic habit force will take over those patterns of thought, make them more or less permanent, depending on your intensity of repetition and practice, and put them to work. The same thing will happen with physical habits. If you follow the same route to and from work every day, you make that route a habit. You probably aren't even aware that it is a habit until you need to alter your route to go to a store or visit a friend. If you aren't paying attention when you start your trip, you will probably find yourself missing the turn or forgetting your task altogether. This is an example of why you need to be aware of and in control of all your habits. If your dominating mental habits are thoughts of poverty, then cosmic habit force will bring about poverty in your life. If your dominating mental habits are of prosperity and peace, cosmic habit force will bring them about. There is an endless cycle here. Repetition of a habit intensifies it until it becomes an obsession. You can become obsessed with poverty or with achievement. This is why I have repeatedly stressed that your thoughts are the only thing you can completely control if you decide to do so. You must control your thoughts to control your habits. Cosmic habit force doesn't leave you any room to complain that opportunity never came your way. You will know that as long as you have the power to form and express your thoughts, you have the power to change the circumstances of your life into whatever you want them to be. If your life isn't already what you want it to be, it is because you have drifted into your present circumstances by virtue of cosmic habit force. You can change that. Definiteness of purpose, backed by the power of cosmic habit force and enforced by self-discipline and personal initiative, can bring you to the circumstances you want. Money-making habits. So the circumstances you want include making more money, do they? Here's how to go about using cosmic habit force to do just that. Step 1. Create a clear mental image of just how much money you want to make. A lot is not a good answer. You need a concrete figure or a percentage above your current income. Step 2. Imagine some of the results of having that money: a new home, sending your daughter to medical school, a comfortable retirement. Doing this clarifies which of the 10 basic motives are driving you. The more motives you can associate with making more money, the stronger your push to achieve it. Step 3. Decide how you will earn this extra money. I've emphasized again and again that you can't get something for nothing. You must have a plan. Step 4. Write out your goal and your plan. Include your motives for making more money. Instead of a statement like, "I want to retire in security," write something like, "I want to own my own home free and clear of debt. I want to be able to travel and visit my family 3 times a year." Set a date for starting and achieving this goal. Sign your plan. Make it a contract with yourself. Step 5. Go back to your plan and underline all the things that you need to do to make it happen that you aren't doing now. Make a separate list of these things. Step 6. Start doing the things on the list. Some of them will be daily tasks, such as spending less money on dining out and putting more money into your savings account. Others will be longer range but will require daily progress, such as going the extra mile in your job. You have to bend all your efforts and thoughts to doing these things. Step 7. Every day, read your goal aloud to yourself until you have it memorized. Repeat it in your mind when you get out of bed, when you start your job, when you come back from lunch, when your workday is finished, and before you go to sleep. Yes, this is just what you should be doing anyway in connection with your definite major purpose. You are giving cosmic habit force a pattern to follow. The length of time you need to start conditioning your mind to get positive results depends almost entirely on the amount of faith and enthusiasm you place behind your words and actions. All voluntary positive habits are the products of willpower directed toward the attainment of definite goals. If you say to yourself, "Sometime in my life I want $100,000, you are saying, "I am uncertain about my goals." Here, cosmic habit force cannot come into play because there is no definite pattern for it to follow. If you say instead, 6 months from now, I want $100,000, and I will do X, Y, and Z to get it. Cosmic habit force has a pattern to follow, but it will follow that pattern only when your thoughts and actions lead it there. If you don't do X, Y, and Z, you won't develop cosmic habit force. Flexible habits. Be sure to make your plan sufficiently flexible so that you can change it when you are so inspired. Key word here is inspired. As you put your plan into action and develop applied faith, infinite intelligence may hand you a better plan than the one you have made. Treat such inspiration respectfully, or it will help you strengthen your plan where it is weak. Don't express contempt for your hunches. If you repeatedly say to yourself, "I had the most foolish idea today," soon you will be having only foolish ideas. Instead, write down your hunches as soon as they occur to you. Examine them carefully, and be sure you are not rejecting them simply because they involve something that hasn't been done before or because they don't conform to your current habits. The purpose of cosmic habit force is to make your habits serve you, not the other way around. Don't let your habits become so ingrained that whatever useful purpose they once served, they now limit your opportunity, tolerance, faith, and enthusiasm. American Express enjoyed huge success with its charge card in the 1980s. It became a symbol of prestige, and millions of new members signed on. More businesses than ever accepted the card because they wanted to attract card members' dollars. Then the economy changed, but American Express habits didn't. As it became necessary to stretch every penny and to watch every percentage of margin, cardholders began switching from the high-fee American Express card to no-fee cards from Visa and MasterCard that offered almost the same benefits. Merchants became angry because American Express claimed a higher percentage of each charge than other cards. Worse, it was slow to credit merchants' accounts. the number of cardholders began to fall dramatically. In Boston, a group of restaurants even organized a boycott of American Express to protest its policies toward merchants. Profits disappeared and losses mounted. Cosmic habit force was at work. American Express kept doing business the way it always had until a crisis hit it right between the eyes. The habits that had made it the premier charge card were not the habits that would keep it the premier charge card. Its habits ruled them, not the other way around. Whatever your habits, Cosmic Habit Force will carry them out. It isn't enough merely to develop good habits and leave it at that. You must remain alert to the effect of your habits and be willing on a moment's notice to change them when new ones will serve you better. Beware of these habits. The good news is, ironically, if you have any of these habits, they will eventually cause some sort of defeat that will inspire you to eliminate them. Of course, you can spare yourself that trouble if you're willing to examine yourself, identify your negative habits, and resolve to replace them with positive ones. Poverty, imaginary illness, laziness, envy, greed, vanity, cynicism, drifting without aim or purpose, irritability, revenge, jealousy, dishonesty, arrogance, sadism. Embrace these habits. You can replace any of the above with one of the following and profit by doing it. Definiteness of purpose. This is the primary good habit. It makes you more alert, more imaginative, more enthusiastic, and it increases your willpower. Faith. Let your mind dwell on positive ideas and on clearing away all negative influences and fears. This takes self-discipline. Personal initiative. You may have to force yourself at first to do things without being told to do them, but persistence will make it easier. Enthusiasm. Remember that controlled enthusiasm is your goal. You'll want to be able to summon it at will or shut it off when it isn't appropriate or might actually be dangerous. Self-discipline. This is a circular process. The more you exercise it, the more you have it. Going the extra mile. Start right now by doing something for which you don't expect to be paid directly. Go the extra mile every day by sheer effort if necessary, and soon the effort will be replaced by habit. Controlling your willpower. In the chapter on self-discipline, you learned about your ego, the source of your willpower. Developing positive habits which can be taken over by cosmic habit force depends heavily on strong willpower. Here's a review of the steps to strengthen your will. Step 1. Actively ally yourself with other people who can help you attain your major purpose. A mastermind alliance creates multiple patterns for cosmic habit force to work on. Step 2. Develop your plan, drawing on all the members of your alliance for knowledge, ability, and the power of their faith. Step 3. Distance yourself from anyone and any circumstance that make you feel inferior. A positive ego does not grow in a negative environment. Remember that cosmic habit force causes every living thing to partake of the dominating influence of its environment. Step 4. Close the door on the unpleasant experiences of the past. A strong will doesn't dwell on the past. A vital ego thrives on hopes and desires of an as yet unattained objective. If you keep your mind in a state of hope and desire, cosmic habit force goes to work changing your hopes and desires into their material equivalent. Step 5. Surround yourself with every possible means of impressing your mind with the nature of your definite purpose. Hang mottos on your walls. Put up pictures of people doing what you want to do. You want to make it easier to create a mental image of yourself realizing your objective. The more you create this image, the sooner it will be taken over by cosmic habit force and impressed on your subconscious. Step 6. Watch out that you don't overinflate your ego. One small prick with a pin, and the escaping hot air will be like a runaway rocket, carrying you far away from where you want to be. The three essentials of cosmic habit force. Three qualities underlie the process of voluntary establishment of a habit. Plasticity. This is the capability to change. It also implies that once a change has been made, your new form will hold until a subsequent change is made. You won't revert to your old status. Consider the difference between modeling clay, which is malleable but holds the shape it is given, and mercury, which can take any shape for a moment but will never keep it. You can be changed by environmental influences or by your own decisions. Frequency of impression. Repetition is the mother of habit. One of the factors affecting the speed with which a habit can be adopted is how often it is consciously repeated. Your ability to do this may vary with circumstances. Your job may require enough concentration on the task at hand that you have to pay attention only to it and develop your habits in your spare time. Personal initiative also comes into play. If you're lazy, you won't knock yourself out developing a habit. This can definitely slow down the process of acquiring it. Intensity of impression. You can go through the motions of an activity, or you can concentrate on doing it. Concentration builds the habit quickly. You impress the habit on your subconscious mind, and it becomes a part of everything you do. Here's an example of these three essentials at work. A woman working the swing shift at an electronics assembly plant was allowed 2 10-minute breaks, one at 6 p.m. and one at 10:30. Most of her co-workers used these breaks for cigarettes. She didn't want to cultivate a bad habit that would affect her health and make her a less pleasing personality, so she decided instead to have a snack. Her garden was in full bloom, so she would have a carrot, an apple, or something else she had grown herself. Being human, she already had plasticity. It's part of everyone's nature. Every day throughout the summer and fall, precisely at 6 and at 10:30, she would have her snack. This gave a definite frequency of impression. The element of intensity varied according to her relative hunger. Sometimes she ate with relish because her meal at home had been small. Sometimes she skipped a meal before coming to work, and the intensity of her hunger was even greater. But whenever the break came, she ate, no matter how hungry she was. As the months passed, she realized that regardless of what she had eaten, she got hungry before her breaks. She watched the clock, waiting for a chance to eat. Sometimes it seemed the time would never come. And when her garden was no longer producing good, fresh food, she switched to anything else she had at home, a candy bar, a donut, cookies. This is a clear example of the voluntary establishment of a habit. But it wasn't really a good habit. She began to put on weight and found she was distracted from her work for half an hour before her breaks. So she decided to break her habit and stopped bringing food. This wasn't the answer because there was food in the vending machines at the plant, and she just started buying that. Not only was she still eating, but she was now spending more money to do it. At this point, she really had to seize possession of her mind, inspire it with a strong motive, and take definite action. She set a definite minor purpose to break her habit. She did this by reading, substituting the desire for knowledge and inspiration for the desire for food. Her break came, she reached for a book instead of a candy bar. The same frequency of impression was there, of course. The only thing different was the intensity. At first the feeling of hunger persisted, but after a few days she acquired an appetite for reading, which overwhelmed the old physical desire. She established a new habit to supplant the old. Any worthless, superfluous, or harmful habit can be broken and replaced with a more desirable one if you want it to be so. One, develop definiteness of purpose. 2, establish a mastermind alliance. 3, assemble an attractive personality. 4, use applied faith. 5, go the extra mile. 6, create personal initiative. 7, build a positive mental attitude. 8, control your enthusiasm. 9, Enforce self-discipline. 10. Think accurately. 11. Control your attention. 12. Inspire teamwork. 13. Learn from adversity and defeat. 14. Cultivate creative vision. 15. Maintain sound health. 16. Budget your time and money. 17. Use cosmic habit force. A detailed evaluation. Following are concise summaries of the steps to making each principle a part of your life. Read them through, and then at the end of each section, stop the tape, write down specific actions you plan to take to implement the principles, then restart the tape for the next section. The summaries themselves will give you concrete recommendations about what to do. Under the definiteness of purpose, you might write down that you will define your major goal, write out a plan for achieving it, and read that plan aloud to yourself every day, all of which are mentioned in the summary. But if you also include a date by which you will have your plan written down, you will be making a commitment to yourself that will provide you with extra motivation. So do not simply parrot back the summary suggestions. Consider carefully the changes you need to make and be as detailed as possible in writing them out. In a few weeks or months, you can look at these notes, recognize the progress you've made, and renew your commitment to success. 1. Develop definiteness of purpose with PMA, the starting point of all worthwhile achievements. You should have one high, desirable, outstanding goal and keep it ever before you. You can have many non-conflicting goals which help you to reach your major definite goal. It is advisable to have immediate, intermediate, and distant objectives. When you set a definite major goal, you are apt to recognize that which will help you achieve it. Determine or fix in your mind exactly what you desire. Be definite. Evaluate and determine exactly what you will give in return. Set a definite date for exactly when you intend to possess your desire. Identify your desire with a definite plan for carrying out and achieving your objective. Put your plan into action at once. Clearly define your plan for achievement. Write out precisely and concisely exactly what you want, exactly when you want to achieve it, and exactly what you intend to give in return. Each and every day, morning and evening, read your written statement aloud. As you read it, see, feel, and believe yourself already in possession of your objective. Engage in personal inspection with regularity to determine whether you're on the right track and headed in the right direction, so that you don't deviate from the path that leads to the achievement of your objective. To guarantee success, engage daily in study, thinking, and planning time with PMA regarding yourself and your family, and how you can achieve your definite goals. Whatever your mind can conceive and believe, you can achieve when you have PMA and apply it. Now stop the tape and write your commitment to use this principle in your life. Then restart the tape. 2. Establish a mastermind alliance with PMA. A mastermind alliance is two or more minds working together in the spirit of perfect harmony toward the attainment of a specific objective. This principle makes it possible for you, through association with others, to acquire and utilize the knowledge and experience needed for the attainment of any desired goal in life. Your mastermind alliance can be created by surrounding yourself or aligning yourself with the advice, counsel, and personal cooperation of several people who are willing to lend you their wholehearted aid for the attainment of your objective in the spirit of perfect harmony. You can create a mastermind alliance with your spouse, your manager, a friend, a co-worker. Once a mastermind alliance is formed, the group as a whole must become and remain active. The group must move in a definite plan, at a definite time, toward a definite common objective. Indecision, inactivity, or delay will destroy the usefulness of the alliance. There must be a complete meeting of the minds without reservations on the part of any member. You can have several mastermind alliances, each with different objectives. That is, an alliance with your spouse to reach your family objectives, an alliance with your banker or investment counselor or attorney for your financial objectives, an alliance with your minister or clergy for your spiritual objectives, and so on. Now stop the tape and write your commitment to use this principle in your life. Then restart the tape. 3. Assemble an attractive personality with PMA. Your personality is your greatest asset or greatest liability, for it embraces everything that you control, mind, body, and soul. A person's personality is the person. It shapes the nature of your thoughts, your deeds, your relationships with others, and it establishes the boundaries of the space you occupy in the world. It is essential that you develop a pleasing personality, pleasing to yourself and to others. It is imperative that you develop the habit of being sensitive to your own reactions to individuals, circumstances, and events, and to the reactions of individuals and groups to what you say, think, or do. Positive factors of a pleasing personality: a positive mental attitude, tolerance, alertness, common courtesy, a fondness for people, flexibility, tactfulness, personal magnetism, a pleasant tone of voice, control of facial expressions, sportsmanship, sincerity, a sense of humor, humility of the heart, smiling, enthusiasm, control of temper and emotions, patience, proper dress. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Now stop the tape, write your commitment to use this principle in your life, and then restart the tape. Number 4. Use applied faith with PMA. Faith is a state of mind through which your aims, desires, plans, and purposes may be translated into their physical or financial equivalent. Applied faith means action, specifically the habit of applying your faith under any and all circumstances. It is faith in your God, yourself, your fellow man, and the unlimited opportunities available to you. Faith without action is dead. Faith is the art of believing by doing. It comes as a result of persistent action. Fear and doubt are faith in reverse gear. Faith in its positive application is the key which will give one direct communications with infinite intelligence. Applied faith is belief in an objective or purpose backed by unqualified activity. If you want results, try a prayer. When you pray, express your gratitude and thanksgiving for the blessings you already have received. Then ask the good Lord for His help. Affirm the objectives of your desires through prayer each night and morning. Inspire your imagination to see yourself already in possession of them, and act precisely as if you were already in physical possession of them. The possession of anything first takes place mentally by being imagined in the mind's eye. Prayer is your greatest power. Now stop the tape, write your commitment to use this principle in your life, and restart the tape. 5. Go the extra mile with PMA. Render more and better service for which you are paid, and do it with a positive mental attitude. Form the habit of going the extra mile because of the pleasure you get out of it, and because of what it does to you and for you deep down inside. It is inevitable that every seed of useful service you sow will multiply itself and come back to you in overwhelming abundance. Following this principle will make you indispensable to other people. The principle manifests itself in two important laws: the law of compensation and the law of increasing returns. These unvarying laws always reward intelligent effort rendered in the attitude of faith and rendered instinctively without regard to the limits of immediate compensation. Q1 plus Q2 plus MA equals C. The quality of the service rendered plus the quantity of the service rendered plus the mental attitude in which it is rendered equals your compensation in the world and the amount of space you will occupy in the hearts of your fellow man. Make going the extra mile with PMA a habit. Now stop the tape, write your commitment to use this principle in your life, and restart the tape. 6. Create personal initiative with PMA. Personal initiative is the inner power that starts all action. It is the power that inspires the completion of that which one begins. It is the dynamo that starts the faculty of the imagination into action. It is, in fact, self-motivation. Motivation is that which induces action or determines choice. It is that which provides a motive. A motive is that inner urge only within the individual which incites you to action, such as an idea, an emotion, a desire, or an impulse. It is a hope or other force which starts in an attempt to produce specific results. When you know principles that can motivate you, you will then know principles that can motivate others. Motivate yourself with PMA. Hope is the magic ingredient in motivation, but the secret of accomplishment is getting into action. Use and develop the self-starter. Do it now. Now stop the tape and write your commitment to use this principle in your life, and then restart the tape. Number 7. Build a positive mental attitude. PMA stands for Positive Mental Attitude. A positive mental attitude is the right, honest, constructive thought, action, or reaction to any person, situation, or set of circumstances that does not violate the laws of God or the right of one's fellow man. PMA allows you to build on hope and overcome the negative attitudes of despair and discouragement. It gives you the mental power, the feeling, the confidence to do anything you make up your mind to do. PMA is commonly referred to as the I can, I will attitude applicable to all challenging circumstances in your life. You create and maintain a positive mental attitude through your own willpower, based on motives of your own adaptation. To develop PMA, strive to understand and apply the golden rule. Be considerate and sensitive to the reactions of others. Be sensitive to your own reactions by controlling your emotional responses. Be a good finder. Believe that any goal can be achieved, and develop what are understood to be right habits of thought and action. A positive mental attitude is the catalyst necessary for achieving worthwhile success. Achievement is attained through some combination of PMA and definiteness of purpose with one or more of the other 15 success principles. Maintain the right attitude, a positive mental attitude. Stop the tape and write your commitment to use this principle in your life. Then restart the tape. 8. Control your enthusiasm with PMA. A person without enthusiasm is like a watch without a mainspring. Father John O'Brien, research professor of theology at the University of Notre Dame, says, the first ingredient which I believe is absolutely necessary for a successful, efficient, and competent individual is enthusiasm. He adds, enthusiasm comes from the Greek words that let you look into the root of this word, into its basic, fundamental, and original meaning. The first is theos, which means God. The other two words are ente, so that in the early usage of this term of the ancient Greeks, it literally meant God within you. Further, no battle of any importance can be won without enthusiasm. To become enthusiastic about achieving a desirable goal, keep your mind on that goal day after day. The more worthy and desirable your objectives, the more dedicated and enthusiastic you will become. Understand and act on William James' statement. The emotions are not always immediately subject to reason, but they are always immediately subject to action. Enthusiasm thrives on a positive mind and a positive action. This is the key to controlling your enthusiasm. Always give it a worthy goal to focus on, and once you have channeled it toward that goal, it will carry you forward. Real enthusiasm comes from within. However, enthusiasm is like getting water from a well. First, you have to prime the pump. but soon the water flows and flows and flows. You can be enthusiastic about everything and anything you know or do. Enthusiasm is a PMA characteristic. It can be generated naturally from one's thoughts, feelings, and emotions, but more important, it can be generated at will. To be enthusiastic, act enthusiastically. Stop the tape now and write your commitment to use this principle in your life. Then restart the tape. 9. Enforce self-discipline with PMA. Self-discipline enables you to develop control over yourself. Self-discipline begins with mastery of your thoughts, what you really are, what you really do. Your failures and your successes are the results of habits. We are creatures of habit, but because we are minds with bodies, we can change our habits. Self-discipline is perhaps the most important function in aiding an individual in the development and maintenance of habits of thought, which enable that person to fix his or her entire attention upon any desired purpose, and to hold it there until that purpose has been attained. If you do not control your thoughts, you do not control your deeds. Think first and act afterward. Self-discipline is the principle by which you may voluntarily shape the patterns of your thoughts to harmonize with your goals and purposes. Direct your thoughts, control your emotions, ordain your destiny with PMA. Stop the tape now and write your commitment to use this principle in your life. Then restart the tape. 10. Think accurately with PMA. Accurate thinking is based on two major fundamentals. 1. Inductive reasoning, based on the assumption of unknown facts or hypotheses. 2. Deductive reasoning, based on known facts or what are believed to be facts. In school, we are taught deductive and inductive reasoning, and the fallacy that results in starting with the wrong premise in the one instance and making the wrong inference in the other. Accurate thinking and common sense are in part the result of experiences. You can learn from your own experiences as well as those of others when you learn how to recognize, relate, assimilate, and apply principles in order to achieve your goals. 1. Separate facts from fiction or hearsay evidence. 2. Separate facts into classes, important and unimportant. Be careful of others' opinions. They could be dangerous and destructive. Make sure your opinions are not someone else's prejudices. The accurate thinker learns to use his or her own judgment and to be cautious no matter who may endeavor to influence him or her. Truth will be truth regardless of a closed mind, ignorance, or refusal to believe. Stop the tape, write your commitment to use this principle in your life, then restart the tape. 11. Control your attention with PMA. Controlled attention is organized mind power. It is the highest form of self-discipline. Controlled attention is the act of coordinating all the faculties of the mind and directing their combined power to a given end or definite objective. It is an act that can be obtained only by the strictest sort of self-discipline. It is obvious, therefore, that when you voluntarily fix your attention upon a definite major purpose of a positive nature and force your mind through your daily habits of thought to dwell on the subject, you condition your subconscious mind to act on that purpose. Controlled attention, when it is focused upon the object of your definite major purpose, is a medium by which you make positive application of the principle of suggestion. The mind never remains inactive, not even during sleep. It works continuously by reactions to the influences which reach it. Therefore, the object of controlled attention is that of keeping your mind busy with thought material which may be helpful in attaining the object of your desire. Controlled attention is self-mastery of the highest order, for it is an accepted fact that the person who controls his or her own mind may control everything else. Keep your mind on the things you want and off the things you don't want. Now stop the tape, write your commitment to use this principle in your life, and restart the tape.